Hey, good afternoon, everyone. This is Sunday. I haven't been able to really upload anything or record anything. I've been really busy, and the time I do have off, I try to prioritize and spend time with my kids. This is the first video in weeks. I'm in my backyard. That's where you're gonna hear all of the sounds. You might hear some traffic or a truck going by. Sorry about that, but I wanted to talk to you guys today about pride, right? About how pride really does take its course and affects us in a lot of ways. When we're full of pride, we don't assess things correctly out of fear of being looked upon as less than. Right? That's the thing about pride is that you don't want to seem to be less than the other man. That's where your pride comes. Now, not all pride is bad. Like, you can take pride in your heritage, right? You can take pride in your family and your achievements, the things you've accomplished throughout life. You can take pride in those things. Now, you can take pride in the achievements of those that are close to you. That's a good type of pride. To be able, because that's the pride that's constructive. It constructs, it builds character, right? It strokes the ego a little bit. It's not, look, ego is not necessarily bad all the way, but it gets excessive. And once it does, then it becomes a negative, right? Everything's a balance in life. I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I don't like to be patted on the back or recognized for the things I do, for my knowledge, for whatever it is that I contribute. You always want to be recognized. Sometimes it's not just money. It's not always about money. And that's hard nowadays because everyone's looking for the bag. That's like number one. That's the first thing people wake up thinking about is how to make that meal ticket, how to get that check, how to make some money. Extra dividends, like I've told you before, I got two jobs. I teach English, I work at the office. Weekends I'm free, and that's when I usually take the time to do this. But getting back to pride, so what pride does is it gives us a false sense of, even of entitlement. It gives us a false sense of understanding. It's really skewed. Like, if you let your pride take over you and be like the primary thing you carry, like that's your primary filter of whatever it is you're going through in life, and pride, that's your first filter. Like, if you see things through eyes full of pride, you already started off with a skewed vision of the world and of whatever circumstances it is that you're going to go through from that moment. Right? Because there's always a trigger. Now, something always triggers our pride. And the first thing that triggers our pride is fear of being looked upon as though we're fools, as though we don't understand what it is that someone is talking about. Like, sometimes pride plays itself out very defiantly. It comes out as defiance, and what we're defying is, that this person had previous knowledge of something that we didn't. Sometimes when people are proudful or full of pride, the way that it comes out is always being on the defensive, always being the one that knows, always being, yeah, I knew that already. When you hear people say that, yeah, I knew that already. Like, they say that all the time. Like, every time you're talking about something, and it may be something new. It's probably something new to you. Like, you're admitting that this is something new to you. A person with pride can't admit that they didn't know. When once pride takes over and it starts diminishing, like your rationalization, the way that you view things, you're gonna it's gonna skew the way you look at the world and reality. It's gonna skew reality, right? So it goes from being able to, it goes from you knowing that you're competent in something to you saying that you're the best at something. And those two things aren't the same. Like, you can be competent. Now, you may know, you may have learned how to do something very well, and you know, great job. But there's always something to learn, right? And you never know what the next man knows. You know, you don't know what the next man's gone through. You know, you don't know if there's someone better than you at what you're proclaiming to be good at. You know, because that's pride. Boastfulness comes from pride too. And sometimes we're boasting because we're so sure of ourselves, because we've got a skewed view of our reality, of the reality of others, that we think we're on top of the food chain, when all of a sudden, you know, a whale shark comes along, or no, whatever it is. It wouldn't be a whale shark, it'd probably be like an orca or something. It comes along and you realize, wait a minute, you know, I'm not up to par with this character. But I already said that I am. So I gotta, you know, continue trying to bolster my image in front of people. So you start living a fantasy, you start living a lie. When you're full of pride, you don't see what other people are seeing. And the destructive nature, the destructive behavior that comes along with it. Now, when you're full of pride, you won't listen to advice. You won't listen to feedback because you think you know it all, or at least you have to appear like you know it. You know, and so the learning curve of someone that's full of pride is much longer, okay, and much more like curved, than someone that recognizes that they need to learn, that doesn't know it all. You know, I'm forever a student of the game. I'm not, you know, I can't claim to know it all. But what I do know, I try to share to bring the next person along. And if that person catches it and goes far ahead, well, good job. I'm going to learn from you. No, that's what it is. That's what this is all about. You know, when we're talking about humanity and we're talking about getting along and getting together, it's about bringing the next man up. But when you're full of pride, you're not thinking about that. You're thinking about being the best and on top of everyone, regardless. You know, pride will make you bite the hand that feeds you. You know, that's real. It'll make you think that you're much better than the person that's been sponsoring you, that's been helping you along. You know, you get so full of pride that you think, you know, this guy's giving me peanuts. If I did it on my own, you start thinking that you're better, or that your way is better, when you don't realize that the person that's bringing you along has been doing this, is a scholar in it. And whatever it is, they came before you and they're teaching you the ropes. There's a reason for that. You know, pride makes you lose that respect towards those that help you out, because you think that it's owed to you, that it's owed to your greatness, to your, you know, for people to revel in your wisdom. You know, if you're truly wise, what you do with that wisdom is you help others. Like, you teach them how to do things better. And you don't do it from a standpoint of, I'm better than you. You do it from a standpoint of, I've been through that, so let me help you. All right? That's wisdom. You know, that's caring for your neighbor. That's caring for, you know, being the good Samaritan, whatever you want to call it. Okay, it's sharing. You know, people say sharing is caring. Yeah, you know, it is. It is. Because we're not, you know, we're not forced. We don't have to help people. But when we do so, we know that our quality of life improves. Because there's a meaning now. There's a purpose. And we're seeing the betterment of those around us. That's like the whole point. Ice cream man. Paletero. Let's see, what time is it? It's 1:01. So yeah, I guess it's ice cream time. Sorry about that. And then you got all the delivery, because people are ordering lunch, whatever, coming back from church. But anyways, going back to pride. You know, the reason why I'm talking about this is because, you know, I've gone through that. You know, I've been pride. You know, I've been full of pride, proudful, whatever you want to call it. You know, for the right and the wrong reasons. You know, so I was always on the defensive. I was always argumentative. I wasn't able to learn. I wasn't able to adapt, because pride will keep you from adapting. And maybe this is your moment to change the way you've been doing things, and it's time for you to adapt. The world isn't going to come out put a big pause sign in front of your eyes up in the sky and say, all right, pause, fucker. No, you got to improve your life now. You got to make these changes. Now you got to read the signs. You got to read the symbols, and you got to listen to feedback and advice. No, people, if you believe in God, you got to believe He puts people and circumstances in your way to steer you or to show you or to make you grow, right? And you accept it and you acknowledge it and you have the faith and you're grateful for those He puts around you. But when you're full of pride, everything's an inconvenience to you. I could do this better. If it was up to me. And then when it's up to you, you start looking for people to blame because it can't be your fault because you're too full of pride. All right, that's how it is. So, be proud of the good, of the positive, of what feeds others, not just in the physical sense, but that feeds them spiritually, feeds them through knowledge, through examples, through virtue, right? Through love. Take pride in achievements that help you, the business that you're in, whatever it is that sets a course or standardizes something, because of your input, because of your work, your creativity. But don't take pride in destructive things that divide. All of that. This is who I am. That's not true. We're a product of our environment, and it's up to us to adjust. If you can't adjust, salud. There's a saying in Spanish, here in El Salvador, that's camarón que se duerme se lo lleva la corriente. Right? A shrimp that falls asleep will be taken by the current. So get your shrimp antennas up and running. We should be smarter than shrimp. That's why I mentioned orca. That's what, if I think about animals, I think of the two smartest for me are orcas and octopus. And you guys can go and look at those videos, like documentaries on those animals, and you'll be surprised, right? At how smart they are, how social they are, and all the things that they're capable of. So we can't sit around and think that even as a species, the way we see things is very limited. It's limited to our human existence, but the way animals see things is totally opposite. So, they could see things more rationally and more cut and dry than we can. And we have to understand that our existences are different. We have to accept it and learn from that. Not reject it and say, nah, this is who I am. Ooh, I'm stuck in my ways. I'm a work in progress. Yeah, that does not excuse foul behavior, right? And not being able to grow. And not being able to accept when you're wrong. And swallow your pride. And accept that sometimes we just need to humble ourselves to become who we want to be. All right, I hope you guys got the message. And, I just want to share what I think and what I know. And put it out there, and if people listen, cool. If not, cool. But hope you guys have a great Sunday. I hope I'll be able to put more content up coming up, right? And just watch out, man. Don't let pride get the best of you. Peace.